I'm back on the Bullnose today. If you're new to the channel, this is my 1986 Bullnose F150, and I've been working on it for the past couple years. I got a huge playlist of all kinds of stuff I've done to this truck. It's the biggest Bullnose Ford playlist on YouTube that I'm aware of, and I've done extensive work to this truck, documented everything. So if you want to go check out my channel and scroll through the playlist and find a video that might help you out on your Bullnose Ford 1980 through 86 F150s, F250s, pretty much all the same. But yeah, today we're doing some more progress on it. I got some DJM Drop Beams gonna be installing. I've already got 3-inch drop coils in the front and a rear flip kit and shackles to lower the rear, and it's just not as low as I want to go. So DJM had an awesome 4th of July sale, so I picked up a set of their 3-inch drop arms, drop beams, and we're gonna install them today. I haven't seen any other videos on the internet of someone installing drop beams on a 1980 through 86 Bullnose Ford. I've seen a few videos of guys with newer ones like brick nose and the later arrow nose OBS Fords, as some people call them, but seen videos for those trucks. Haven't seen an install video for these Bullnose Fords, so I'm gonna help out the Bullnose Ford community and document my install. Should be a pretty straightforward process. Sorry, I got the fans going, so you might hear a little background noise. It's hot here in Florida, hot and humid, so gotta stay cool. But first thing I'm gonna do, take that bolt off right there. That way that coil spring can come out. Go ahead and kind of pre-lube everything. Get you some WD-40. And all the bolts we're gonna be working on, I'm gonna douse in WD-40. But I'm gonna take that bolt loose first. Remove the shock right there. You only have to remove the bottom of it. You don't need to disconnect it from the top. It can hang. If you have sway bars, disconnect your sway bar right there. Disconnect your tie rod, and then you're gonna loosen your ball joints and pop those loose, and then you can pull this whole hub and brake assembly off and kind of set it to the side or hang it from the frame. Just, you don't want to stretch out your brake line, but you can take it off completely if you want by disconnecting the brake line, but then obviously you'll have to bleed your brakes. But if you don't want to do that, just set this whole assembly off to the side. And then once I got all that taken apart, this massive bolt right here, you're going to take that out, and that'll release the beam from your I think these are support arms, or I forget exactly what, radius arms. This is your radius arm right there. Once you disconnect that big bolt, it runs all the way through the head of the bolts underneath. You can separate the I-beam from the radius arm. And then this is the bolt for the driver's side radius or I-beam, but there's gonna be another one. You can kind of see it right back there. Unbolt that, and then you can drop your I-beams out of there, and then it's gonna be a reassembly. But that's just a quick overview. I'm gonna document my process as I do it, so y'all join me as we drop this truck and get her sitting real low. Alright, me and my little buddy, we just got that I-beam ripped out of there. That is the mounting holes right there. That's where your driver's side is mounted. It's an 18 and a 21 millimeter socket, at least for my truck. But now it's fully unbolted. Get that junk out of there, man. Now we can get this thing low. You ready?
Yep.
Here's the stock I-beam compared to the DJM. You can see the bushings were pretty destroyed on the stock I-beams. This had a little bit of life left in it, but not much. I've seen other ones where this bushing's completely gone, and you got a lot of play in there, a lot of slack, and that can be causing you issues every time you hit a bump or something. If you're hearing something knocking or your suspension's real loose, it's probably these bushings right here that are playing a part in it. But we'll have these nice new ones, grease those up on the inside and outside so they don't squeak on you. But pretty nice product from DJM. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. Paid for this with my own money, but they're nice and heavy. Look well made, and you can kind of see if you look straight across, but then it goes up. That's what's giving you your lowering, your 3-inch drop right there. They're basically raising this up. This is basically the Ford version of a Chevy drop spindle. A drop spindle, all it does is raise the height of the spindle, and basically DJM is recreating that by just raising where the spindle mounts on this I-beam, and that's where you get your drop from. So, and I think they put a little bit of a corrective angle in here, so your caster camber is not way out of whack, but you'll obviously still need to get in alignment after you get this done. But yeah, just wanted to show y'all how they look. I mean, it's just as heavy as the stock I-beam, so it's well made. I don't see having any issues with it, and they do come with a warranty if you do, but I ain't heard of anybody having any problems with them. So they're pretty safe to run. They've been around for a long time. So anyways, I got some new lower ball joints, and I'm waiting on the uppers to come in. It's nighttime right now, but they should be here tomorrow. I could pull these old ones out and reinstall them, but since I'm going with a new I-beam and rather going back and doing all this stuff down the road, just gonna go ahead and throw new parts in it now. That way everything's nice and tight and functional and good to go for a while. And Moog makes great stuff. Let's see if I can get no part number on here. There we go. K8195T is the lower ball joint. And when the uppers arrive tomorrow, I'll toss y'all that part number if you want it. But can't go wrong with Moog. Got these off Amazon. Overnighted the uppers with 2-day shipping, so that's why I'm waiting on them still. But anyways, I'm gonna finish getting the suspension ripped out of this side. Give y'all a little look. One of my helpers right there. Give y'all a little look at how it looks with no I-beam under there. But she ain't got no legs.
I don't know how she's gonna walk.
Thought I'd try out my sea legs.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. But anyways, I'll start ripping this one out, and if there's anything I feel like showing you that you might need to know, I'll let you know. And then if you want the part number for the drop beams, let me see if I can flip this over. There you go. That's DJM's part number for the drop beams, if you want to order them. I got them shipped to my door, free shipping, with their 4th of July sale for like $550 $29. So can't beat it. Usually they're like $6.50 to $6.30 depending on who you're ordering from. I ordered them straight from DJM. They came from California to Florida in like 4 days, so not bad. Anyways, enough talking. Back to wrenching. Okay, got a quick tip for you. This bolt that runs through the I-beam, it sucks. It is so rusted in there and been on there for so long and so tight. I had to sacrifice one of my wrenches and add a pipe to it, but I had to cut the end of it off, and you want to use this end, that way you get more biting area on the bolt, that way you don't strip it or nothing. But I had to heat this bolt up on the other side, hit it with WD-40, heat it up, hit it with WD-40, do that about 3 times, get this bar on there as far as it'll reach out. And I tried doing it with my daggum arms, could not break it loose. Finally, I just braced myself against the wall, used my foot, pushed against it, and finally that sucker broke loose. But them bolts are on there tight. So just a heads up, on the Facebook forums and the old forums online where I read about guys doing this job, they always said that this was the hardest part. A lot of the bolts were rusted and seized in there if they were northern trucks, and some of them actually broke the bolt when they were trying to get it out of there. So just a heads up, keep that in mind. You can still buy these bolts from LMC, I believe. I believe they're like 15 bucks a piece plus shipping. But if you're doing this job and you're doing it over the weekend and you got to get back to work, and this is, you know, your transportation to get back to work, this truck's just a play toy for me. But I've been there back in the day where you're working on your daily driver over the weekend, and this could be a potential hang up. If that bolt snaps on you or you can't get it unbolted, so you just got to torch them or whatever, maybe go ahead and spend the 30 bucks, order you 2 brand new ones, and have them there waiting. And that way you could just slap them right in your new beams. Luckily, I was able to get mine broken loose, but this has been a southern truck all its life. Not a lot of rust. As you can see, just a lot of dirt and grime, but I assure you, if that was a northern truck, that bolt would probably be getting torched off right now. So just keep that in mind as you're doing it. Just a little quick tip. And if you don't know about that old trick right there, my grandfather taught me that a long time ago. Give you more leverage and give you more strength. I had a deep well socket that would fit that, but that bolt is too long. It would fit the bolt, but it would bottom out because the bolt's so long. So even a deep well socket wasn't fitting. And I tried to hit it from the underside, nothing. What I actually ended up doing was tighten it, pulling this bar towards me, and I got the tiniest of movements, and then, you know, pushed against it, loosened it up a little bit, and moved a tiny bit, tightened it back up, and then when I went to go loosen it again, then it finally broke free. But that's another trick sometimes if you got a real stuck bolt. If you're trying to back it off and it's not loosening it, sometimes you can actually tighten it, and it'll kind of, I don't know how it works, the science behind it, but sometimes if you tighten the bolt even tighter and then try to back it off, it'll bust loose on you. But anyways, just all tips and tricks I've learned over the years, and I hope it helps you guys out. But I'm going to continue stripping this side, and if I come across anything else that I think might help you, I'll let you know. Gonna pause the video for a second here. I ordered this socket right here off Amazon. It's an extra deep socket and will fit over that bolt. Order it. It will make your life so much easier doing this job. And I'm gonna try it. You might not even have to take this apart. If I take this bolt off, I might be able to just slide that off of there and not even have to worry about unbolting this. But I'll see how it goes, and if it works, I'll let you know. I got that nut busted off, and I've started knocking the bolt through the I-beam, but I just wanted to let you know you can leave all that sway bar links attached right there, and you can just fold that sucker back. You ain't even got to worry about taking it off. And theoretically, when I go to put it back on, I'll just flip it right back over and then knock the bolt back through the I-beam, and then it'll all go back together. But if you want to take it off and just have it out your way, by all means, go ahead. I'm going to leave it on there, so that's just one less thing that I got to bolt back on. But I'm going to finish knocking this bolt through, drop that shock right there, or unbolt the shock, and then unbolt the I-beam, the main mounting point, and this baby will be out of there. Just pull my ball joints. Got that side all done. Thanks to my little buddy. You look like you worked hard. But now she officially ain't got no legs. Looking like Lieutenant Dan.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Yes, I know that.
But I gonna wait for those ball joints to come in, like I said. And actually the brake line was looking pretty rusty on this side. I already replaced the other side, so while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and replace that brake line, and then we'll get this old girl slammed down and looking good. But that's it for tonight.
Yep.
Thanks for the help, man. And once some parts come in tomorrow, we'll jump back on it.
Yep.
And get her looking good and low. All right, guys, we'll catch y'all tomorrow in like a millisecond. All right, it's the next day. Got my little buddy again. Got the new ball joints pressed in, and got all this greased up. She's ready to go back in. Ready? All right, let's get to it. All right, drop beams are mounted. These did seem a little wider than the previous ones, so just get out your trusty hammer and tap them in there, and then they'll squeeze right in. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Just slide them right back in there. I grease mine up just so I don't get no squeaks down the road. And next is just reassembling all that junk. Ready?
Yep.
All right, after you got your drop beam bolted back in, just run that massive bolt through your radius arm and bolt it back to your drop beam. Again, 1.1/8 on that bolt right there, and it takes a long time to run it down all them threads, so take your time, get you a cold drink, and get the wrenching. But I went ahead and connected my shock. Next, I'm gonna throw this spindle back on those nice new ball joints, and then we'll go to coil spring and all that good stuff. But let me get this bolted on and we'll catch up there. Got my spindle all mounted, tie rod connected. Make sure you put your cotter keys back in. Got the coil spring perch in there. Now I just got to set the coil spring in there and bolt her back up. We get to put that wonderful nut back there on that coil spring, and I'm just gonna take me a jack and raise that up. I have 3-inch drop coil springs, so that's why I got a gap. If you got stock springs, you might have to push down on that a little bit to actually get your spring to go in there, but mine are 3 inch shorter than stock, so they just kind of fall right in there. But I'm gonna put the jack under this, raise it up, put my coil spring retainer back in there, and then I got to figure out this sway bar. I want to keep running a sway bar on this truck, and I got to do a little research. Some people say you flip it, you got to kind of redo the mounting system on it a little bit, so that I'm going to research tonight. But other than that, once I get this coil spring mounted it's essentially done, and I can throw the wheels and tires back on it. And I'm gonna research that I'm gonna research that sway bar and how to mount it. And then once I figure that out, I'll show you guys how I did that. This truck has factory rear sway bars on it, and if you run a sway bar in the rear and not one on the front, it can make it a little squirrely. And I just really prefer a sway bar on the front. It makes it handle a lot better. So I want to try and keep that. But once I figure out how to do that, I'll definitely show you guys. There's not that much information out there from what I found so far. So got to dig into the archives tonight. But anyways, I'll cut to once this is all bolted up. All right, I got the sway bar situation kind of figured out. I had to flip the sway bar, so basically 180'd, so it's upside down now. And these little links right here, this is from the passenger side and it's upside down, and the driver's side is on the passenger side now and upside down. So you have to switch them from side to side and flip them upside down. They kind of look like that. And then I had to mount my sway bar like that to this cross member right here. Normally it's mounted on the inside. Now I mounted it on the outside. And I had to drill new holes and kind of bend my brackets to make it curve. So it's a little bit more work than I expected to get the sway bar on there, but I got the suspension compressed right now. Got a little bit of room. It's hard to tell, but if I hit a bump or something, I think there still may be a little, it might touch that frame. So what I'm thinking is I gotta put some spacers in the sway bar, and that'll kind of drop the sway bar and push it out forward more and get it away from that frame. But for right now, that's what I'm working with, and hopefully it works. If not, like I said, I'll put some spacers, that way it's not bolted directly to that cross member. I'll put some spacers, or maybe fab up another bracket, but that'll kind of get y'all in the general ballpark. Like I said, take your sway bar off, flip it. You know, the passenger side will now be on the driver's side. And the same thing with these links. Flip them to side, and then you're gonna flip them upside down. And just kind of give y'all an idea of the way it's gonna look after you flip them like that. It ain't perfect, but it'll do for now. And maybe down the road I can find a custom sway bar, or I'm sure somebody out there makes something for this. All right, got the new brake line on. Everything's nut and bolt checked, nice and tight. Get to put the new to me wheels on. Now for the crown jewel. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. See how she looks on the ground, Briar. Pull those jack stands.
Wait.
All right. I'll let you do the honor, let the jack down slow.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
That is lowered a lot.
Pull the jack out. Yeah, that's from yesterday when I was. Well, there she is. All laid out. Front is low. I mean, she is tucking some tire now. Now the back is higher.
It's squatted now.
No, it ain't squatted. We don't squat no trucks around here.
We hate squatted trucks.
When it's lower in the front, that's called rake. It's got a little rake to it, but I'm not a fan of rake. I like a completely level truck, so looks like I gotta lower that rear end some more. Might have to do some hangers,
What a hanger.
or hangers lower your leaf spring down on the frame.
But hangers hang things.
This is a different kind of hanger. But maybe C-notch it and do some 2-inch blocks or something. But man, that front is low now. I'm impressed. That was a 3-inch drop spindles and 3-inch drop coil springs will get you looking that low in the front. I'll give this girl a bath and get some more footage of it tomorrow in the sunlight. Got her out here in the sun, all laid out. And I was doing some thinking last night and came back out here this morning and checked the sway bar after I kind of drove the truck around and let it settle. And if you can see in there, it is touching the frame. So my idea is to basically where that cross member support or whatever you want to call it mounts to the frame, I think if I add a 1-inch spacer, it'll drop that sway bar down about 1 inch and give me some more clearance. So flipping the sway bar and all that how I did does help, but if you got a 6-inch drop in the front, your sway bar is still going to hit that frame. So I got to do some more engineering on that. But also, the more I look at the truck, I like these wheels that are on it, these classic style, but that is not the picture I had in my brain when I've been building this truck over the last 5 years. I kind of like what some people may call sport trucks, muscle trucks kind of, resto mods, but I like a classic truck with more modern aggressive wheels on it. So I ordered a new wheel and literally just went and had it mounted and balanced. That's what I used to have on it right there. 16 by 10s on some big fat tires. I like the aggressive look of those, and I like how they, gave the truck an aggressive stance, but I think this is what we're gonna go with. American Racing on a set of low pros. This is a 245 35 R20. Little thinner sidewall than I want, but because I got the truck dropped 6 inches in the front from my research, if I want to clear and not have to do a bunch of cutting, I had to go with this thinner sidewall. But I'm going to test fit it here, see how it fits, and really I'd like to go with like a 40 or 45 sidewall. But if all else fails, and I don't have that much room, I might take the 3-inch drop coils out of the front and put 2-inch drop coils, so I'll have a 5-inch drop in the front instead of 6, and that'll level it out with the back. So if I go 1 inch higher, the front right now sits 1 inch lower than the rear, so If I raise it up an inch, it'll give me more clearance for my wheels and tires, and it'll level the truck out, solving my issue of the rake, which I'm not a fan of. I like a truly level truck. So let me pop that tire off, and oh, let me show you one more thing. On this tire right here, this is a 225/75. There's like barely get a finger. So if I hit any bump, it's definitely touching the plastic inner fender well, possibly even rubbing the metal fender lip. So if you want to have a 6-inch drop in the front and run these classic style wheels like this, I would say go with maybe 225/70 R15, or maybe even a 225/65 R15, and give yourself some more clearance if you're going with that 6-inch drop in the front. But if I only had 2-inch drop in the front, I'm sure those tires would clear. But I'd just go with the 225/70. It's a little bit smaller tire, so the truck's gonna sit lower, and it just will fit in that wheel well better. But anyways, enough talking. Let me get this new wheel mounted up. Y'all let me know what you think. I think those new wheels look pretty nice. Still have that classic look to them, but with the larger diameter rim size. Kind of a nice twist between old school and new school, but I think it makes the truck look a lot more mean and kind of sporty. I think the black and chrome ties real well. I think I am going to raise the front another inch and do 2-inch drop coils instead of 1-inch, because if I compress the suspension, it does get into that inner plastic fender well, and I don't want to trim those, and I like to just kind of maintain the truck as factory as I can. So I think 1 inch up in the front, it'll level the truck completely out, and I think if I raise it 1 more inch in the front, I might be able to, instead of running a 35-inch or 35 millimeter sidewall, I can bump it up to a 40 millimeter, give me a little bit more sidewall, better ride, and tires will look a little more meaty. And in the back, I may go, maybe like a 265 in the rear or 255, just a little bit wider tire in the rear, kind of fill those wheel wells out. But I'm definitely liking that look more so than that look. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I know there's a lot of old school guys out there. I know a lot of y'all like these new modern wheels. I like the new modern stuff on 50s and 60s stuff, 40s, 50s, 60s. I like a classic wheel on them, but 70s and later, I think the muscle rod, sport truck style looks really good. But anyways, I'm gonna order the rest of the wheels now that I know these fit, and once they get in, I'll throw them on the truck, put that 2-inch drop coil in, take the 3s out, and I'll give y'all a final shot of the truck, and then this video will officially be done. I think if I put the 2-inch drop coils in there, it may save my issue on the sway bar, and I won't have to make a 1-inch spacer to drop it down even more. But we'll see. I'll let y'all know once I get those 2-inch drop coils in and the 3s out. But for now, y'all have to wait a millisecond. For me, it'll be a couple days till the new wheels get in. But next time you see this truck, it'll be on those American Racings. Well, I'm back out here on it. I got it jacked up, got the coil spring removed, and these are the 2-inch drop coils. Hard to tell on camera, but about 1 inch of difference. Got these off eBay, like 130 bucks shipped. I'll drop the link to them. But I'm gonna hang on to these 3s, probably use them on something else in the future. But I think this 2-inch drop coil will give us the clearance we need for the new tires and stuff. So I'm gonna get them thrown in there and get the wheel back on, see how it looks. There she is. The American Racing's VN517 Marauders. Looking exquisite on there. I think it ties together with the truck real nice. The black and chrome grill. You got the stainless around the window, stainless mirrors. Everything looks good. Miss Autumn's checking it out. It is exactly the look I was going for. Got the 3-inch drop I-beams, 2-inch coils in the front, 5-inch axle flip in the rear, plus 2-inch drop shackles. Got it sitting nice and level. Maybe the slightest bit of rake to the front. I think I measured it and it was, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch lower in the front. But it looks perfect. 245/40 R20 tires, front and back. 8.5s in the rear as well. So 20 by 8.5s, 20 by 8.5 in the front. Same offset all the way around. I like that, you know, same offset on all my wheels and tires. I'm not a big, you know, skinnies in the front and fats in the rear kind of guy. I don't know. It's just, I grew up, you know, looking at Trucking Magazine, early 2000s. And back then it was just everything had the same offset. And I just kind of always liked that look. I know a lot of guys are going to the skinnies in the front with like a, you know, 10 or 12 wide in the rear. But I just like it the same all the way around, uniform. That way if I ever get a flat tire or something, or I want to rotate my tires, everything's the same, not a big deal. But I'm very happy with it. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. But it looks good to me. Looks real good. I got a tiny bit of gap between the tire and the fender lip. And so if I hit any big potholes or anything, I'm not gonna get all up into my sheet metal or inner fender wells. The backs, they look, give you a kind of idea, but they sit right behind that fender lip. So hit any big potholes or load the bed down, your wheels and tires are not going to get into your sheet metal, because I would hate to destroy this truck just to get some wheels and tires to fit on it. But yeah guys, the sway bar, when I put the 2-inch coils back in it, took the 3s out, sway bar does not hit the frame anymore. So all you got to do is just take your sway bar off, mount it to the front of the bracket as low as you can, and you can maintain your factory sway bar if you run the 2-inch coils. With the 3-inch drop coils, you're gonna have to do some fabricating and maybe some engineering to try to figure out how to get that sway bar not to hit. Other guys say that you just take the sway bar bracket itself, or the sway bar mounts, and you flip it, and then you obviously swap your links, sway bar links on each side. I didn't flip my bracket. The bracket's in the stock position, but instead of the sway bar being mounted on the inside, it's now mounted on the front of the bracket, and I mounted it a lot lower than where it originally was, and I have no issues. Hit a pothole, nothing, it don't contact. So that's one way of doing it. But anyways guys, hope this video helped y'all out. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. If there's anything I didn't answer in this video that you might be wondering, drop that below and I'll try to figure out an answer to it if I know it, or I'm sure other guys that watch this video will comment, help you out. But if you see something I did wrong or got any tips or tricks for me, please let me know in the comments. I'm open ears. I'm always willing to learn and get better at what I'm doing. And you can never stop learning, you know. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing, the day you stop progressing. So always be open to learning something new. There's always somebody out there that knows something you don't. So there's a lot of guys that are starting to buy these old trucks and work on them, and there's not a lot of info out there, not a lot of YouTube videos. So I'm trying to help the Bullnose community with my Bullnose playlist and put some info out there for all the guys restoring these trucks. But anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. It don't cost you anything. It helps me out. I make a couple pennies off these videos, but I just take all the money and reinvest it back in this truck and make more videos for the Bullnose guys. And anyways, y'all go check out the playlist. Like I said, I got a ton of videos on these trucks. I'm sure there's some video on my playlist that will help you out on your Bullnose. But until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. I'll leave y'all with some nice cinematic clips of this truck.